We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Night Terrors issue 3. This is allegedly a 4-part miniseries, but there is a bookend on each side, so it's actually a 6-part miniseries with a whole bunch of ancillary books that, as a general rule, have nothing to do with the main story and no impact on it at all. This issue was written by Joshua Williamson, art by Guseppe, Camuncoli, Stefano, Nesi, and Casper, Wijngaard. Colors by Frank Martain and Casper, Wijngaard, letters by Troy Peteri. I have the main cover, which is by Ivan Reis, Danny Miki, and Brad Anderson, and the book was edited by Ben Abernathy. The cover's a little busy, it's a little too convoluted. Batman should probably be a little bit more prominent or centered because there's really no focus for your eye except that sword, and that just leads you to this red blurry mess thing, which leads down to another bad guy and right past Batman. So I don't like the cover. It really wouldn't have sold me on the book, which I already was buying it, but as an independent issue, it makes no sense on its own. So Sandman and Batman are facing off with these monsters, and Damian shows up to save them because he's turning into a Gary Sue pretty quickly, more than usual, and they manage to escape. Robin, of course, figures out immediately that Batman is possessed by Deadman, which he thinks is a demon, and he could see Deadman for some reason because he's seen a lot of death. So a little bit more Gary Sue action going on there. And while they're on the Batplane, Deadman decides to take a little walk through Insomnia's mind, and we get to see a therapy meeting where Insomnia drinks some coffee before stabbing somebody to death, cutting his eyelids off. It was very exciting. Then they figure out a way to enter this halfway space called the Hollow, which is between waking and dreaming and death, and Sandman has to defend the two of them while they're in this zone. They call it the reality stream, is an alternate name for it, and that looks pretty interesting. And we end up with Boston having to face his nightmares, and we get a twist ending. Overall, the art is a bit of a mixed bag. The scenes where Boston is in Insomnia's mind, I think, is far inferior art. The perspective of the body proportions don't really line up sometimes, and it's a much sketchier style that I don't think really works with the rest of the art. Once again, the artist doesn't know how to do mouths, so people appear not to have any lips at all. It's really weird. But some of the art is pretty good. It's just a bit of a mixed bag. The story's fine. I think there's a little bit they could have cut out, like the first page intros they do in each issue, where you just have Deadman breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience, are really obnoxious and unnecessary. They don't add anything to it. It's just space filler. It could easily have been cut out. But overall, I did enjoy the story. I think there were just a few things the editor probably should have said, no, we don't need that, and tighten the story up a little bit to make it a bit more concise and focus more on the action. And I think that would have moved the plot a little faster. But a pretty decent issue. So far, I don't hate this miniseries. It's not the greatest thing I've ever read. I am glad to see Deadman is a big part of it, and they have the Sandman in there, so that was kind of neat. And there were some good story elements. I'm a little annoyed that Damian Wayne is such an important part of this, because he just seems to be a little bit of an overpowered mess. But I will recommend it. Maybe not for full price, but if you can find it at a reasonable price, I would say $2-3, probably a good price for it. I don't think this is going to become very sought after in the future unless there's some big event in the final issue. So I don't think it's going to get to be something that's a very expensive issue. So worth a read, but not going to blow you away, and definitely not worth tracking down. If you come across it in a bargain bin, then snatch it up. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.